This video and the Fall TV Takeover are brought to you by PayPal, the simple and safe way to spend, send, and receive money. Download the app today. Are we the only ones that find it weird that they've done a Treehouse of Horror for the Diving Bell and the Butterfly, but none of these? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 stories The Simpsons should adapt for Treehouse of Horror. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're taking a look at movies and shows that seem perfectly tailored for The Simpsons to parody on their annual Halloween special.
It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
Number 10, Goosebumps.
I only opened one book, and now I say that was a mistake.
The snowman must have knocked Slappy's book down.
I still blame him. I don't like you, boy.
In the 2015 film adaptation of Goosebumps, author R.L. Stine's most famous characters escape from their individual books and wreak havoc upon a small town. It's a clever premise that could also be applied to a Treehouse of Horror segment. Just imagine if The Simpsons crossed paths with their creator Matt Groening.
But why be happy with just an autograph? What about an original sketch or snippet of my hair?
After rummaging through Groening's sketchbook, they accidentally release characters from previous Halloween episodes. There's potential here for several great callbacks, as Hugo, Lard Lad, Devil Flanders, and other dastardly foes team up to take over Springfield. We'd definitely be in for a scare, as well as a laugh.
That one's a real page-turner.
Number 9, The Monster Squad.
We're the Monster Squad.
In this 80s cult classic, a group of kids use their knowledge of horror stories to defeat some of the most iconic monsters of all time. Now, what if the film was recast with Simpsons characters? The students of Springfield Elementary would naturally make up the titular Monster Squad. Mr. Burns could once again fill the role of Count Dracula in a pursuit to plunge the world into darkness.
If it isn't little... boy.
Meanwhile, Homer could play the part of Frankenstein's monster, while Blinky the fish evolves into the creature from the Black Lagoon. Plus, couldn't you see Bart saying, "Wolfman's got nards"?
Wolfman's got nards. Come on, come on!
Number 8, Gremlins. Bart already faced off with one gremlin that nearly destroyed the school bus. Of course, that segment was a parody of a classic Twilight Zone episode, as opposed to Joe Dante's 1984 creature feature. That being said, Gremlins is already kinda like a Treehouse of Horror story, mixing elements of horror and humor. Thus, the possibilities are practically gift-wrapped for the writing team behind The Simpsons. Bart gets a new pet that's every bit as lovable as a Funzo doll. After Homer accidentally spills beer on the critter, though, it begins to multiply. Then, when the little menaces eat a box of donuts after midnight, anarchy and hilarity ensue.
Now I have another reason to hate Christmas.
Number 7, Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Bart, you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask?
Since the Treehouse of Horror series has been going on for so long, you'd think that the writers would have parodied one of these classic slasher flicks by now. While Jason Voorhees has made an occasional cameo, The Simpsons has never gone all out with a Friday the 13th spoof. Picture this, a trip to Camp Krusty takes a turn for the worse when Homer drops by with his new chainsaw and hockey mask.
Like when you look at Friday the 13th Part 1. It's pretty tame by today's standards.
Of course, if Friday the 13th is too tame by today's standards, Halloween is another obvious choice. Lisa's babysitting business becomes a bloodbath after Sideshow Bob escapes from an insane asylum. Now that would be a memorable run-in with the Booger Man.
And who is it? Frankenstein? The Booger Man?
It's the man in the bag, sir.
Number 6, Carrie.
You've got the shinin'.
You mean shining.
The Simpsons are no strangers to Stephen King. The Shinning remains one of the show's best Halloween segments, and the horror author even portrayed himself in an episode.
What tale of horror and the macabre are you working on now?
Oh, I don't feel like writing horror right now.
On top of all that, you might have noticed a parallel between Under the Dome and the Simpsons movie. Given the series' numerous ties to King, Carrie seems like an ideal fit for Treehouse of Horror. As the kids at school make her life a living hell, Lisa begins to develop telekinetic powers. She's finally pushed to her limits on prom night when some bullies douse her in a bucket of pig's blood. Spider pig's blood, perhaps? After that, Lisa leaves the fiery gymnasium covered in red and yellow. Number 5, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Just because I cannot see it doesn't mean I can't believe it.
On multiple occasions, the folks behind The Simpsons have joined forces with the Robot Chicken crew for some stop-motion fun. Wouldn't it be amazing if these two creative teams came together once again to parody Tim Burton and Henry Selick's animated classic? Growing tired of Halloween, Homer stumbles into a series of holiday-themed worlds. There are the more traditional holidays like Christmas, Valentine's, and Easter. Of course, Homer could also learn about the more obscure holidays, like Love Day, Whacking Day, and Scotchtoberfest. Since composer Danny Elfman wrote the music for The Nightmare Before Christmas and The Simpsons' main title theme, a couple of songs would also be in order.
This is Halloween, pumpkins scream in the dead of night.
Number 4. Stranger Things.
The Demogorgon!
We're in deep shit.
Seeing as how Stranger Things has evolved into a pop culture phenomenon, we would be amazed if The Simpsons didn't parody it somewhere down the line. The jokes would pretty much write themselves. In the same vein as Will Byers, Bart gets trapped in the Upside Down and attempts to communicate with Marge through letters on a chalkboard. As Milhouse, Nelson, and the other boys try to figure out what happened to their friend, they meet a psychokinetic girl with limited speech, a role either Lisa or Maggie could fill.
We're having waffles!
Ooh, waffles.
Chief Wiggum is also on the case, channeling Jim Hopper. As for the Demogorgon, this sounds like a part either Kang or Kodos was destined to play.
All hail President K!
Number 3. Twin Peaks.
Brilliant.
The Simpsons has poked fun at Twin Peaks a few times over the years, but a Treehouse of Horror spoof has never come to fruition. Since David Lynch's surreal drama series recently had a comeback on Showtime, now seems like as good a time as any for a full-on parody. Either Chief Wiggum or Homer could assume the role of Special Agent Dale Cooper, who's called to Springfield to solve a murder mystery. It soon becomes clear, however, that something even stranger is taking place behind the red curtain.
Chief Wiggum, L.E. the Clues.
The premise would not only make leeway for killer satire, but also a lot of inventive imagery, as well as some damn fine coffee and donuts.
That's damn fine coffee you got here in Twin Peaks. And damn good cherry pie.
Number 2. The Alien franchise.
Greetings, Earthlings. I am Kang.
In every Simpsons Halloween special, you can count on seeing Kang and Kodos pop up. Since these aliens have become such an integral part of the series, casting them as xenomorphs would seem like a foregone conclusion. While we have gotten a couple of nods to the Alien franchise, Treehouse of Horror has yet to take advantage of this obvious setup. Either Marge or Lisa could fill Ellen Ripley's shoes, while little Maggie steps in for Newt. Meanwhile, Homer goes the same way as John Hurt's Kane, with an alien bursting out of his chest. Ironically, this actually sounds like more fun than Alien Covenant.
Seven heaven or rain in hell.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Look! What? The body's gone!
What are you all staring at?
Mr. Owen is one of us.
Drifting on the spaceway by the deep juice hotel. Mapping out constellations of the place I know so well.
Now, we can do this the hard way, or, well, actually, there's just the hard way.
Number 1. It.
Here. Take it.
We've seen Krusty the Clown in the form of a killer doll, so we wouldn't have any trouble buying him as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Krusty-wise, if you will.
I said I'm going to kill you. You, Homer Simpson!
Between Bart, Lisa, and their friends, there's no shortage of great characters to make up the Losers Club. Then you could have Jimbo and his fellow bullies stand in for the Bowers Gang. Whether it mainly draws inspiration from the original novel, the 1990 miniseries, or the 2017 film adaptation, this idea is just floating with potential. On a side note, it'd be pretty fitting if former writer John Vitti returned to pen this segment, seeing as how he's been known to use Pennywise as a pseudonym. This video and the Fall TV Takeover are brought to you by PayPal, the simple and safe way to spend, send, and receive money. Download the app today.
False очи от теб зависи. Дори знаеш как има едно на ум. Ще направиш, от теб зависи. Дори да знаеш как има едно на ум. Не забелязваме, че нощите преливат цели отстрани. Следи се отдалеч, надежда да се срещнем с очи. Може би няма начин да спрем нашето си момент.